everyone, and welcome to the second part of our NCBOLD presentation, Teacher Evaluation Process and Practice for Principals and Assistant Principals. This is linked to the presentation, go.ncdpi.gov/NCBOLD in all caps 24 and NCEES in all caps. The part that I'm getting ready to cover is reviewing the teacher evaluation process, assigning rights, confirming plan evaluation types for staff, navigating the staff dashboard, running reports, and learning some troubleshooting tips along the way, and also sharing some resources that you can use to help you on your process, in your process of using this system. This is targeted to principals and assistant principals and anyone who is new to the admin role in NCEES. We do align this to the North Carolina digital learning competencies for educational leaders. This will focus on visionary planner, empowering leaders, and connected learners. We do like to give a disclaimer for third-party tools that, using third-party tools, you do need to make sure that you are following the policy for using those tools. And NCEES is one of the third-party apps that is approved for DPI, and we handle all of the processes for you with that system. Like I said, this is the second part. So we're going to be starting here on step 5. These are all clickable links. So we're going to start here and we're going to go to professional development and we're going to get started with navigating the system. So when you are in NCEES, did you know that you can provide PD directly to your staff or recommend PD? So we're going to talk about that. So in addition to finding PD for yourself, you can also find that for your staff. So when you're in NCEES, you do look for that professional development tab. And once you're in, you can search for courses. You can do some advanced search if you know specifics and you just want to search for title, description, start or end dates. You can also search by subject. So there's additional items that you can search for once you are in NCEES. Once you're in NCEES, you can search by courses that are aligned to standards. You can search for courses that have focus area as well. Please keep in mind that course creators are the one who tag these courses. So you may find that this also fits another area that wasn't tagged, and that's okay. You can still recommend or require this for other people, even if it is not tagged for that standard if you think it fits another area. So we're going to go to the live site. I'm going to show you all of these slides that we're talking about. And this one slide is about the focus area. And then we're going to look at recommending that course. So there are step-by-step guides here, but like I said, I also like to go to the live site and show you how you can look for these courses. So I am going to NCEES. And from NCEES, I am going to go to the professional development tab. And you can search for a course here. So I know that SchoolNet is one of our home-based products. And so there's some courses or learning opportunities for SchoolNet. You can type a subject. If you know the course number section, you can type for that as well. I'm just going to type for SchoolNet. And you can see that once I get in here, we do have 2 SchoolNet courses available. Depending on rights depend on what you see in NCEES. So if you see the recommend button, you can recommend that for your staff members if you have access to them in NCEES. I'm just going to click on the title of this. I want to learn a little bit more about this course. And I can see here that this could be general credit. While digital learning competencies are no longer required for licensure renewal, they are credits that you can take, but you can choose between 1 hour of general credit or 1 hour of digital learning competencies, which is 0.1 CEUs. Like I said, you can register for yourself or you can recommend this for someone else. So I want to see the details. And if I click recommend, it's going to take me to this other screen and you can search. Maybe your whole school is deciding to use SchoolNet this year and you want all of your instructional staff to take this course. You can come right in here and you can go to staff position. You can choose instructional and continue, and you're going to see how many people this is going to be sending it to. You can click on your recipients list, and then you can assign this to all of your instructional staff if you would like, and you can click finish. I'm not going to go through that process because that's going to freeze up my screen just a little bit. Or maybe you have someone in your school who maybe you have like a lead math teacher and they have taken a really good course and you just want to assign this to a specific person, or maybe just part of your staff needs SchoolNet training. So I'm going to go back to a course I'm going to look at the second one, Collaboration in SchoolNet. It's another course you could look at. And rather than assigning it to your whole instructional staff, you can see where you can set people, and you can search for people's first and last name that you have access to in NCEES. You can search here, and then you can add their name to their course. When you recommend a course, where does it go? Well, in NCEES, on My Courses, you'll see that there's a recommended tab and a required tab. So far, we're just looking at recommended. So I can click right here and see what courses have been recommended. Some people like to recommend courses to everyone, and maybe you have courses that were recommended a long time ago that are no longer relevant. You can click that I and you can hide the course. So all of the hidden courses will show up under this list, but you can hide those recommended courses. So I can see all courses, and then you can go to those that are also hidden. So if this course is not relevant for you, or you think that the person looking at it decides this is not a course they want to take, they can hide that course and ask, are you sure you want to hide it? And the next time I go back to My Courses, I will only see the course that is left. But those do appear on the My Courses tab under Recommended Training. So as you're trying to help your staff gain CEUs, and maybe you have some district-wide initiatives, this is something that you can do. In addition, I'd also shown you, rather than just searching for a topic, course creators can tag courses to align with standards. So if you're searching for courses for you, you can go to Principal AP, you click on Available, and any course that was tagged to this by a course creator, you click Available, and you're going to see that any courses that may have fallen here that were tagged to that area will appear here. In addition to searching for courses for the principal plan, you can also search for courses that are tagged to the teacher evaluation plan as well. And always click Available. If you find one you like, you can use the steps that I showed you to recommend as well. Like I said, I do have step-by-steps in here to show you how you do that. Going back to searching for subjects aligned to standards, then searching for focus areas. When you are in NCEES as well, when you're in professional development, you can also look for focus aligned areas, and you can see this is where you might see them tagged to subjects or different items here. So things that are tagged to STEM, math, and this is where you're going to search for courses that way as well. Remember, it could be something that's appropriate for a math teacher, and the person who created the course just didn't tag it to math. That is where you can just look at courses on an individual basis, but this might help you narrow those down. So once again, look at those courses or tag it to that focus area, and then anything that was tagged to math will appear here. Like I said, there might be more. This just might be all that you see. When you see the word start, that just means that it is a self-paced course. When you see the word register, that means it's instructor-led. Instructor-led courses could also be self-paced. That just allows them to add sections to that course and provide a little bit additional information. But either course would be fine to take. Once again, if you see start, that just means it was created as self-paced, and register just means it is instructor-led, and that allows you to have sections. You'll notice for self-paced, you don't see the sections icon up above. Also, when you are in a teacher's plan, you will see at the very bottom of that plan type, there is the light bulb moment. And that light bulb allows you to recommend learning opportunities. So you can recommend learning opportunities, and that is going to be in the comprehensive, standard, abbreviated, or lit higher plan. I do like to say in the coding part of NCEES, the abbreviated plan is seen as a totally different plan than the other plans, even though it contains the same standards. In coding, it is different. And sometimes our course creators may tag a course to the full teacher evaluation, but forget to tag it to the abbreviated plan. So you may see courses when you're working with someone on the standard plan, and then you're like, oh, I really want someone else to have this. And when you're looking at the abbreviated plan, you don't see it, but you can always go back to the PD page to recommend that. So just wanted to lay that out there, that once again, it just depends on what the course creators tag the courses to. So let's go look at this at the live site. So I'm going to go to NCEES. I'm going to look at staff evaluations, and I'm in a training account, so my names are going to be standard, late hire, abbreviated. So I'm going to look at my standard people. These are my people that are on a standard plan. I can come right in here, open this standard plan, And like I said, at the very bottom of all of your teachers' plans, you can see recommend learning opportunities. You can add an opportunity. You'll see the courses that are available. Just like before, you could search if you wanted to. Maybe I want to search for Canvas this time. Maybe your school is going to be using Canvas this year. And you can require or you can recommend. Once you are in someone's plans, if you have access to that plan, then you can require or recommend. Remember, if you don't have these options, it's because of your access rights in NCEES. Everything that you do in NCEES is based on access rights. So you can require this course and you can save it. So where does it go if you require a plan? When someone logs into NCEES, and they are on this screen, they will see required. Now, they can't hide required. They still have to go in and do it, but with the I with recommended, when they can look and make a choice here, it's going to stay here until they complete that course. So that is how you could do this. And you can also decide, excuse me, if you want them, let me go back to my standard person. So now that I'm here, I can see this course is listed. I can remove this, check and remove the course if I'd like, or I can add additional learning opportunities. And remember, for them to see them, they just need to go to the My Courses tab and they can see what has been recommended. I'm going to click Done to get out of this. So just as a reminder, if you are working with that teacher and you want to recommend a learning opportunity, that is at the very bottom of their plan. Remember, you can recommend or you can require. Also, when you are observing the people or you're in the middle of the post-observation conference, maybe you've never noticed, but in front of the elements and the standards, these are these tiny little light bulbs. And this is where you can get very targeted and very specific with ways to help them grow. Because remember, it's all about growth. So when you are in that plan, and teachers themselves, when they are doing their self-assessment, if they're rating themselves low in an area, they can also click on that light bulb moment to find courses to help them grow. Once you click on the light bulb and you find a course that you like, you're going to choose required or recommended, and then make sure you do recommended required channels. That's just something that we need to use here. I do have that outline so you can remember what that looks like. And we're going to go back and look at that once again in the live site. So once again, I'm going to go to NCEES. I'm going to go to the Staff Evaluations Dashboard. I'm going to open a plan. Just going to go to my teacher number 4 this time. I'm going to go to the observation, so that formal observation. And now that I'm in that rubric, if you see those tiny little light bulbs, once again, this is when course creators tag them to these standards. And if your district or PSU is using NCEES PD Office, they can also tag their course or learning opportunities they make to these standards. But I'm going to click on the light bulb, and then any course that is tagged to standard 1 will appear in this list. And remember, like I told you, you can choose maybe you want this person to learn about copyright, you want it to be required, and then recommended required channels. Once you're happy with everything you've done for this person, you click Add, and then it will appear on their My Courses dashboard. If you have a question about assigning PD, please feel free to reach out, and I'll be happy to help you with that. We're going to go on to our next topic. So now that you have your staff rosters and you know what staff members need to be put on the comprehensive plan, your beginning teachers, and you know if you need to have someone on the standard plan or the abbreviated. At this point in time in the year, we're not using late hire, but we're going to go look at assigning those plans, and we're going to look at assigning access rights to those plans. So once again, we are on the My Staff page. If you don't have My Staff, that means you're not a site or district administrator, and you will not be able to do this part of this presentation. So let's talk about the My Staff page, and let's talk about making changes, because once you assign things, it does take overnight for processes to happen. If you have someone who is on a comprehensive plan, you cannot open the summative channel until that peer observation is complete. Now, you can add a peer observation to any type plan, but if it is a comprehensive plan, which our BTs need to be on, but if it's just other teachers and you want to have support, you can add a peer observation to any plan, but just be aware that if a peer observation has not been done and the person is on a comprehensive plan, you cannot open the summative channel. So that's going to help you think about what plans you put people on. Remember, those BTs have to be on that comprehensive plan. If you are assigning a PDP, make sure you do that the same day you assign the evaluation plans. The reason this matters is because not everyone is on the teacher rubric, but the default PDP rubric is the teacher rubric. So if you have a media coordinator, an ITF, a school counselor, a career development coordinator, any of those additional roles that are in NCEES, if you assign their PDPs one day, that's going to process and it's going to populate the teacher rubric. And if you go in the next day and assign comprehensive, standard, abbreviated plan, the PDP will probably not have the correct rubric. So make sure when you're assigning the teacher plans and the PDP, you do that the same day so the rubric will match and be correct. I will show you later on some troubleshooting tips if this accidentally happens and they have the wrong rubric. I also like to say, if you change a plan type, the previous plan will be deactivated and the plan or the observations belong to the plan. So if you realize you have a beginning teacher and you had accidentally put them on the standard plan and you need to change that and 2 observations have already happened, when you put them on that comprehensive plan, it's going to look blank. You can go back and add upload the information manually. You have to type in every single rating and everything like that and sign off, but you can add in the comments that the teacher was put on the wrong plan originally and that they are now on the correct plan. So add that in your comments because your dates will not match up for when the signature dates will not match up for when the observation actually happened. But before you deactivate that plan or work with your district administrators to deactivate the plan, because we don't want people to have more than 2 plans, make sure you go ahead and get all of the information into the correct plan. Just also remember that anytime you make changes, they do have to process overnight. And don't think you can come in Wednesday morning, assign everyone a plan type, and then at the staff meeting Wednesday afternoon, everybody's going to do their training and orientation. Any changes made do have to be processed overnight. And access rights can't be assigned until that overnight process as well, because it doesn't register as anyone to assign those, that anyone is on those plan types. So just be aware that when you're doing things in NCEES, it is going to take time. It's easier to get things correct the first time than have to go back and change them later because of those overnight processes. But just some things to really think about. So when we are on my staff and we are verifying assigned plans, and I will show you this on the My Staff page in just a minute. I like to show you the slides so you can refer to those later and then show you those in the live site as well. So principals and AP, if you are new to this role, you do not have a separate PDP. The PDP is built into the principal AP plan. Anyone who is coded with a budget code that is recognized as principal or AP, this should automatically populate for you, should automatically appear on the staff dashboard, and you should have no PDP. Because like I said, it is a part of that plan. If you have someone who is, trying to hover. If you have someone who is instructional, just make sure that we go ahead and assign their PDP the same day as their plan type, whether it be standard, abbreviated, comprehensive, just making sure that those rubrics do match. If you have someone who is support or support certified, their evaluation is not in NCEES. They are evaluated on another instrument, but their evaluation is not in NCEES. So they are supposed to come in with no evaluation and no PDP selected. That would be support and support certified. These people are in NCEES for the purpose of PD, or maybe they are peer observers or mentor, but they do not even have the My Evaluations tab because they are not evaluated in NCEES. And then just remember, like I said, if you have someone who especially is not in that teacher role, whether it be ITF, media coordinator, you set that PDP type the same day so that rubric will match. Because if you set the PDP and don't set this plan type, this is going to default to teacher. And then you set the plan type the next day, chances are this is going to be ITF and this is going to be the teacher rubric. So just making sure that they match. So let's go look at the live site and see what that looks like. Remember, if you do not see this, it's because you do not have district or site administrator rights. So I am in NCEES, and from NCEES, I'm going to go to the My Staff dashboard. Like I said, you're only going to see My Staff and reporting if you are site and district administrator. If you don't have that, if you don't see that, you have not been given those rights. So I'm going to click on My Staff. And from the My Staff page, you're going to see choose your school. If you have district level rights, you're going to want to make sure you get in the correct location. If you're at school rights, you probably won't be able to change school. So from this drop down, I'm going to look and verify that I have my plan types here, like I said, and then that PDP type. And you're also going to search see if you have someone who is support. If you've never used filters, you can practice with filters. If you've never used those before, it's going to help you look at those people who are instructional role, administrative role. Like I said, if you've never used filters, you might want to try those. I'm going to go to add filter, and I want to look for someone's position that contains, and I'm just going to do support because that's going to get my support certified and my support staff. I only have one person in this testing account with support, and I want to verify that anyone that has support or support certified has no evaluation and no PDP. You would choose that in the list. People default come in as the dash or the not selected. If you see dash or not selected, you've not looked at their rights or their roles in NCEES, excuse me, their plan type in NCEES. So these people who are not evaluated in the NCEES, make sure you choose no evaluation and no PDP if that was not automatically coming in. Then you can do a filter and you can look for the position contains, and then you can search for instructional. And then you'll see your instructional staff come up. And then this is where you're going to want to look at each person and decide if this is your school counselor, if this is your regular teacher, what type plan do they need to be on? And then these are the roles that are evaluated in NCEES. Maybe this first person, maybe they're an ITF, and just making sure you choose that PDP type at the same time. But you're going to want to go down your list and make sure you give everyone the correct plan that they need. Once again, that was from My Staff, and then the staff management tab. So let's pretend that we have gone through, we've looked at everybody who is on our staff. It has processed overnight. Now you can't do this next step until an overnight process. So get up, maybe I'm planning all this. So on Wednesday during my staff meeting that this can happen. And I just did that first step on Monday. So this is on Tuesday. This is my second step. So I want to assign rights to my teachers and staff plans. So before you assign rights to plans, you need to know what these rights mean. The lead principal of a school who has a budget code of 114 automatically comes in as the evaluator to everyone who's in their staff. They're automatically the evaluator for the principal or their assistant principals. They're automatically the evaluator for every type plan that is in their school, comprehensive, abbreviated, standard, late hire, once that happens later in the school year. But they are automatically there. And the evaluator, the person given the evaluator role, is the only person who can complete the summary evaluation at the end of the year. Remember, that's automatically assigned to your head principals. The observer can do just about everything the evaluator can do, but they can't sign off on the summary evaluation. The observer also can't be a peer observer. They are totally different rights. So maybe the principal wants their assistant principal to help them with everything except the summative or the summary evaluations at the end of the year. So the evaluator may go in and make the principal an observer to all of the plans, just so they can assist with those formal and informal observations. But remember, they can't sign off on that summary evaluation. That's the only thing the observer can't do. Then you have your peer observers. Beginning teachers need a peer observer, and that is not the same as an observer. NCEES does not see that as the same. The observer, looks like the observer can go in and do the peer observation, but they can't sign off on it. So when I get emails all the time, they'll say the peer observer can't sign off. That's because they were given observer rights and not peer observers. So remember, you can work with people to be peer observers, but your beginning teachers really need a peer observer. Also, beginning teachers need a mentor, but anyone can have a mentor and anyone can have a peer observer, even if they're not a beginning teacher. Peer observers are what you use for like the observable plans, the unit standard, abbreviated, comprehensive, late hire. Mentors are assigned to PDP plans. So if you have a beginning teacher, making sure you're giving them a mentor. And then we have someone who's going to come in with view only rights, and that is someone who can maybe view the principal's evaluation or view teachers' evaluations, but they can't edit. And a lot of times your superintendents will come in with those view only rights. They need to be able to see everyone's plan, but not edit everyone's plan, or maybe someone at the district level. Also, you're going to have someone at your district who has reopen rights. Normally, that is your district administrator, and that person can go in and reopen rights to plans. Reopening a plan is not as easy as you may think, so we recommend not finalizing any observations until those conferences happen, just in case any changes need to be made. Because in addition, you have to reopen steps, you have to unlock, you have to reopen, you have to close reopen activities and relog. It's not quite as easy. I'm just clicking one button. So just making sure before you finalize a plan that you don't finalize until those conferences. That will help with time later. But since this page does talk about, excuse me, I went too far. Peer observers and mentors. I do have a link here to the beginning teacher support on DPI that's going to give you a little bit more information on peer and mentor observers. So once again, this is processed overnight. I know who needs to have rights to what plans. So we're going to go to my staff. We're going to go to administration staff management. We're going to click that drop down arrow, and then we're going to look at those rights. I'm going to do this on the live site, so you can see what that looks like. Once again, in NCEES, navigating to my staff. And remember, you only see this if you're a site or district administrator. Administration staff management. And this is where you're going to assign rights to plans. This is where you can assign a peer observer, a mentor, evaluator, observer, view only. This is where you can assign those rights. Now, if there's someone who is not on this list, maybe you're this person's never been a mentor before, if they've never been a peer observer, you can click add administrators to get them to appear in this list. And this just means really like administrative rights to those plans. They may not be a principal or assistant principal, but administrative rights to plans. So once the person is in the list, you can click, once again, I'm in my staff, administration staff management, and I'm going to click this drop down, and I'm going to go to admin rights. Now on this screen, there's a few things that we do need to look at. So from this screen at the top, making sure you know who you're giving rights to. So you're going to see at the top, this is teacher number 2. Remember, I'm in a training account. So I'm looking at teacher number 2. Any rights that they have already been given access to is going to appear in this little scrollable box right here. And anything that was made on this page can be removed from this page. So maybe you have someone who later on you assign them as a mentor, and then you realize later on they're just not a good fit, because sometimes that does happen. Then if they were a mentor on this page or a peer observer on this page, if it says added on this page, it can be removed from this page. So just check the box. You'll see this term right turns red, and then you can remove their rights. So maybe this person just does not need to be their peer observer. So I'm going to remove. And that's like, are you sure you want to remove the peer observer rights? And yes, I do. So remember, anything that was added on this page can be removed on this page. But now we're going to look down here at these 4 steps. Choose your site, choose your plan, choose your members, choose your rights. So choose your site. If you only have access to one school, that's how you're going to see. If you have access to multiple schools, you'll need to navigate between the 2 schools. And this is assigning rights to this person. So I'm giving rights to teacher number 2. So maybe I need teacher number 2 to be a mentor to a professional development plan. And I'm going to come through here, and I'm just going to pick and choose my teachers that I want this person to work with, just randomly pick and choose, and I want them to be a mentor. So this is the mentor. Once you've decided who you want to give rights to, you click add. So this is going to give anything that I've had, and then you'll see these people that I just added up here. You can see mentor, they're all up here at the top. This does need to process overnight, so they will not be able to see these plans till tomorrow, but they will need to process overnight. So let's go back. And maybe now I want to go and find my assistant principal. And I want my assistant principal to have rights to everyone in my school. I want them to help me. So once again, I'm going to go to administration staff management. And then I'm going to go to, let's just say this is my assistant principal. I'm going to click the drop down and go to admin rights. And I'm going to give them some rights. Now, you're going to see here that actually this person has rights to everybody at my school. But anyway, you'll see here source of rights, school admin, manually added via step. So that means that I can't remove them because this is based on their budget codes and how they come into NCEES. So if you can't remove them here, you're going to see this. But we're going to pretend right now that this site admin is my assistant principal. And I'm going to come in here and I want this person to be the observer for everybody in my school who's on a comprehensive plan. They're going to help me. So I can handle number 3 a couple different ways. You can pick and choose a few random people. You can check this box at the top, and this is going to get you everybody who is currently on that plan in your school. But you know, as soon as you assign all these plans tomorrow, you're going to get a new teacher, and that always happens. We get new teachers throughout the year. So if you leave number 3 blank, it becomes a dynamic field. And from this point forward, this person will have observer rights to everybody on a comprehensive plan if you need number 3 blank. It's going to be a dynamic field. So if you come in tomorrow or next week or even 2 months from now and you give someone a comprehensive plan, if you leave number 3 blank, they'll automatically be an observer for that plan. So remember, but decide, do you really want this person to have access to all of these plans? So I'm just going to click add. And it's going to say this will give access rights to all people at the selected sites. It's going to remind you, are you sure you want to do this? And I'm going to click yes. And now you can see that that does have a box. It was added this page. So if I had made a mistake, I could just click here and then remove those rights. But just being aware, however you handle number 3, do you really want that person to have rights to everybody? But if you know that your assistant principal is going to help you with all plans, that might be a quick way. Or maybe this is the comprehensive plan and you know that you have someone who is helping with BT support and you want them to have access to everybody on a comprehensive plan, just deciding what rights you want them to have. And remember, when you click add, and then when you're finished adding rights to this person, you click done, and then that's going to get you off of this page. I know that that page has a lot of steps, so I did come in here and add a screenshot and just reminding you to look at the person, how you can remove rights if you need to. Choose your site, choose your plan, choose your members, and choose your rights. So just making sure that you do choose all of those things. And then you click add and done. So hopefully that will help you. There's also help guides here that can help you with assigning rights. And I'll show you some additional help guides later on in the presentation. So you have assigned plans, you've allowed that to process overnight. You've assigned access rights, you've allowed that to process overnight. And then on Wednesday afternoon, you have a meeting and you want everyone to do their training and orientation. You're going to train everybody and you want them to sign off. Well, this year we do have a report, and last year was the first year it was available towards the end of the year, but there is a report that will show you if your staff members have started their plans. This is the only plan that we have that will generate a list of people who have not started their reports, but they have been assigned on the My Staff page. So, and all it's going to tell you is if they are not started, in progress, or complete. So let's go look at where that plan is, because it's Thursday and you want to see who did that, who did their training and orientation, because you know it's always trying to get that green check and making sure that everything is in there. And sometimes it just has to do with not marking complete, not finalizing, or things of that nature. So when you are in NCEES, and remember, if you have the reporting tab, that's because you're a site or district administrator. I'm going to go to reporting. I'm going to, where it says select the module you wish to run a report, I'm going to change that to quick reports. And then the name of this report is Staff Assigned Plans Start Status, current year. Then you're going to choose the plan. So maybe you want to focus first of all on your comprehensive plans, because you know our BTs have so much they have to do. I'm not going to show anything because I'm in a training account, but you just click next and done. And this is going to generate you a report with the person's name, their location, and if they have started or not started. Like I said, I'm in a training account, so mine doesn't show anything. You literally only have those items. So it's going to show you who has started and who has not. Did you also know that if you have rights to My Staff and all staff, then you can actually start this plan for them. So let's just say everybody met Wednesday after school. You know, like I said, Monday you assign plans, Tuesday you assign rights to plans. Wednesday afternoon you do the training and orientation, and then you want to make sure Thursday everybody has done this. You run that report to see who has, and you look at that for comprehensive, abbreviated, standard, late hire. You'd look for, you know, all the different plan types, whatever ones you've started. And you have people on that list who haven't started. And, you know, sometimes it's out of sight, out of mind, because if they haven't started that plan, they're not going to appear on your staff evaluations dashboard. So let's look at how you can prompt that plan to appear for them to get that on your dashboard. So you can go to My Staff, All Staff, and then if they have a drop down in front of their name, that means that a plan has been assigned to them. If you see the word Edit, that means the plan has been started and they're on your staff dashboard. But if you see the word Start, it has not started, and you can click Start, and that's just going to prompt it to appear on your dashboard. So let's go look at that on the live site. So once again, this depends on your rights. Everybody may not have this option, but I'm going to click My Staff. Then on the far left, I'm going to go to All Staff. Anybody who has had a plan assigned to them will appear on the side. So if you have the word Edit, that means they've started, but you already have a report of those who haven't started. Seeing if I had anybody who I could start it for them. But you can come in and you can start that plan for them. So if you need to do that, remember, if you see the word Start, you can start. I was just seeing if I have anybody who hasn't started. I think I've tested all the plans and I don't have any left. Click Start. But if you see the word Start, you can start it for them, and all it does is prompt it. It just triggers it to appear on your staff evaluations dashboard, because we don't want people who are out of sight, out of mind, not being able to do those plans. Okay, so we have figured out how to assign plans. We have assigned access right to those plans, and we've made sure everybody appears on our staff dashboard. So once people are appearing on your dashboard, there's a lot of things we can do. Now, even if you're not a site or district administrator, if you have access to a staff dashboard, you're going to be able to do these things that I show you now. So staff evaluations dashboard is like the third icon at the top. And once you get into the staff evaluations dashboard, there's a few reports you can run here. You can download as a CSV, and you can also do evaluation completion report. Just to show you what they look like, they are up here in the upper right hand corner. So you'll see download CSV, you'll see evaluation completion. Download CSV, that's going to print anything that you're currently seeing on your screen at that time. It's going to tell you if it's complete, not complete, things of that nature. If you have a very large staff, this is only going to limit to 5,000 records, so you're probably going to want to use filters. If you've never used filters, I'll show you how to do that. And then the reporting menu, once you click on that little line graph or that graph icon, we're going to go to the evaluation completion report. I'm going to show you both of those. When you are on your staff dashboard, there's a lot of things you can do from this screen. You can download a CSV of information that's currently on the screen. You can run reports from this way. You can filter your data. You can search by name. You can email directly from the screen. District administrators can archive and delete. You can also see past plans that have been archived that took place in your district that you had access to. If someone's in a different school last year, you will not be able to see that. But we're going to go through now, and we're going to go to the staff evaluations dashboards, and I'm going to show you all these steps, including how to download as a CSV. So once again, I am in NCEES. From the home screen, you do click on the staff evaluation screen. Once again, I'm in a training account, so you see my names are standard, abbreviated, late hire, things of that nature. So once we are in here, you can see that I want to show you first over here, you can look at the evaluations menu, and if you wanted to look at previous plans, maybe you have a teacher and you just want to know how they did last year, you can click on that plan and you can see how they did from last year. Just searching for plan types, it's going to pull up anybody who was on that plan in that school last year. Also, you can add a filter. So we've made sure everybody appears on this page, and maybe I just want to look at training and orientation, and I want to say not equal to complete. I just want to get in touch with my people who have not done that. So if you've never worked with filters, there's a lot of filters. This is just one example. I'm going to update my table, and these are my people who have not done their training and orientation. I'm just going to focus on my comprehensive people. And since I'm in a training account, I only have one person on the comprehensive plan who's not done that. Or you can search, like I said, other plans. You can search for specific people, or you can just leave it blank. But anytime you make changes, you may need to click update table. But I can see here who has been evaluated, not evaluated, or who has started, excuse me, and not started. And anybody who has not completed, from this screen, you can email them. So I'm going to check this box. Never had to leave the screen. From this box, I can see anybody who has not finished training and orientation. They don't have that green check over here. Check all the names that appear. You can click message all, and then you can say finish your training. You can send you a copy. I would suggest email and announcements because not all emails are correct in NCEES, and you can decide when you want that to disappear. Maybe you don't want that up there next year. Choose an end date. And then just say finish. You know, tell them what you need to do. You have not done your training and orientation. Give them, you know, as much as you want. And then you're going to click send. The reason I say do email and announcement is because in NCEES, not like I said, not everybody's email is correct, but if you do, if they have email, it will appear in their email, but they're also going to get a message right here in the My Announcements tab. They're going to have a number up here in the envelope that they can click on to see messages. And also when they log in on the My Evaluations tab, there's also the announcement. So it's going to stay here and they can see if they've not read it or if they've read it, but they're going to have that information. So you have reached out, you've emailed everyone who has not done that, and you never had to leave your screen. So if you've never worked on emailing people, you can do that. You know, you can say equal to completed, and then I can look and see all of my people who have done their training and orientation. And you can see and items that have been locked. You can see those things that have been locked, but you can look at this dashboard. Once again, I'm just searching for someone's name standard, but you can, I just did that so everybody's name doesn't pop up because I have a lot of names that are going to show up in this training account. Okay, in addition to that, like I said, I've already shown you how to access previous evaluations that you have access to. I've shown you how to use some filters. You can also say not equal to complete, and you can look at just active plans if you want to. So you can just look at those who are on these type plans. So if it doesn't appear here, that means you don't have any on your dashboard to look at. So you can look at people specifically that are on certain plans. Maybe I just want to focus on people who are on the abbreviated plan. You can update your table, or you can just look at people on the abbreviated plan. Oh, excuse me, I had the word standard there. So it's going to appear here with any, if you search a name, just make sure you delete that name. But then you can look at people who are on those plan types, and you can see what they're at. If I were to download as a CSV right now, it's only going to show these people because I've narrowed it down to the abbreviated plan, and you can look and see who's done what part. So when you download CSV, if you have any filters, they will only appear how you filtered it on that CSV. In addition to the CSV, I'd also shown you that you can do the, and there is also reports that you can look at to see like activity lock report, but you can also see those locks on that report as well. We're going to look at the evaluation completion report, and for me, this is the most beneficial report that I think you might time saver, maybe not beneficial, but time saving report that's going to help you in NCEES. And this report is going to show you plan activity completion, and this is only for plans that are on your dashboard. So I've already shown you how to get them on your dashboard. And the way you navigate here, and like I said, I'll show you the steps in the live site, but you navigate to the staff evaluations tab, you click on the graph icon, you select evaluation completion, you're going to choose your plan and check items you want to include. And there are screenshots here of what that does look like. And then you're going to see these steps as we proceed through the plan. So this is what we're going to go to the live site and do, but these are your steps for later. And you're going to have this nice color-coded chart as well. So I'm going to go back to NCEES. I'm going to go to the staff dashboard. I was like to show you where I'm at. And then over here on the far right, I'm going to have the reporting menu, and I'm going to click on the evaluation completion. We do not use these other two things in NCEES. They are used in, you know, for PowerSchool that uses this for other states, but we do not use those other two, or other three. We just use evaluation completion. And this is where you're going to want to make sure you choose your plan type. So maybe I just want to look at the abbreviated plan right now. And any option that is an actionable item in the plan is going to appear here as a check. Now, at this point in time in the year, I don't need to be looking at summary. I'm going to deselect. And maybe we're a month into school, and at this point, everybody should have done their training and orientation. I'm not going to choose the pre-observation conference because that's not required on the abbreviated plan, but the formal observation is, the post-conferences are, and the lock is. So I just want to look at those fields that are required fields. Now you can look for other things, but I just want to look at the required fields in NCEES right now. So about a month into school, this is where I should be with these abbreviated plans, or this is where I want to be. I'm going to scroll down, choose what you want to appear in this report. I'm going to click refresh. Give it just a second. So I can see at this point in time that at this point, the whole abbreviated plan, you probably don't have anybody complete yet. I'm in a training account. This is going to be your overall data on this plan. And I can see that 100% of my people have done their training and orientation. This is going to be your overall staff data. I can also see that the formal informal observation has been done by 40% of my staff. This should probably match up a little bit better. It should actually be 60 since these are 60, but I am in a training account and I had to reopen an activity to try something. And I can see what percent of my staff have done the post-observation by the evaluator, the post-observation conference by the teacher, and what has been locked. So this is your overall school data on this plan. But then I can scroll down and I can look at specific people and say, okay, who hasn't done what needs to be done? Now, one thing I do see here is that this is in progress. That was probably reopened. So when you see something odd like that, it should pretty much go green across. But I can see here what's been done, what's been completed. This is your overall status. You probably don't have anybody who's complete yet. Like I said, I am in a training account. And then you can look and see that abbreviated teacher 4 and teacher 5, their observation has not been done. So we really need to work on those because it's at the point in time in the year where we should really have that observation done. But you can look at this nice report. It's nice. It's color coded. Think of how many times you've actually gone in and made a spreadsheet of your own and checked the boxes. Well, you don't have to do that anymore because this is going to do it for you. If you want to download this information into a spreadsheet, you just come over here above their names and click download CSV. You can upload it into Google Sheets. You can upload it into Excel. It is not going to be color coded. So if you are good with, formatting and all, you can make it look just like this, but it's not going to come in color coded. It's just going to come in a spreadsheet. If you want this report color coded, but you can't edit it, then up in the upper right hand corner, you can download as a PDF, and it's going to have all these nice, pretty colors. And then you can come in here and you can look at it. And as the year, and you can download, you can't edit the data, but the data is going to be there for you. And then as the year goes on, you're probably going to want to check additional items. Maybe it's halfway and you want to be finished with the second part of the plan. So, you want that second observation. And you can choose multiple items, just being aware that you don't have to choose those items. So once again, to get here, I went to staff evaluations. From staff evaluations, I clicked on this little graph icon and clicked evaluation completion. I'm going to choose the PDP this time just to show you another plan, the PDP. Once again, anything that's an actionable item is going to appear in this list. I don't need all of that at this point in time. I'm going to deselect, and I just want to see who's done their self-assessment, if the PDP has been done, and I'm going to choose mentor this time. While as that's not required for everybody, that's going to let me look at my BTs just to see if it's been done. So it may be orange for some people, and that's okay. But if it's orange for a BT, then that's something you need to talk with their mentor about, maybe talk to the PT about. Once you decide what you want to appear in the report, once again, I'm just looking at the beginning of the year. I'm going to refresh. Let it spin. Overall school data is going to appear up here at the top. I can see that self-assessment's only been done by 67% of my staff. The initial review has been done by 33%. You can look at all of these percents. I can see that only one mentor has signed off. And then I want to look at this list. So orange might not be bad if it's not a required field. So if this person is the only, this is my PDP number 2 person, if they are the only BT you have, then that's fine. Then that's been completed in those other steps. So even if it's not a required step, it's going to come in as not started, and you just have to look at that and compare that to your beginning teacher list. Like I said, for those other plans, you can look at who's done a written response, or who's done, if you had to do the acknowledgement override. You can look at those things, but they're going to be orange even if they're not a required field. So hopefully that will help you save time. Remember to download this color coded. You just come to the upper right hand corner and download as a PDF. If you want to download this into a spreadsheet, you're going to click download CSV. The results that you get here are going to come in. If you have district level access, you're going to see like the entire school here. You can bring this in and filter it or download it and filter. But if you only have access to one school or only have access to certain people at your school, then you're only going to see those that you have access to. But if you have district level access, you're probably going to want to download and filter it by school. So hopefully that will save you a lot of time to making sure that those plans have been done and verifying that that information has been completed. I also like to now go talk about reports that you might find beneficial at the beginning of the school year. And these are just reports that people have shared with me that they like to run. I've shown you a lot of reports or some information that you can run from the staff dashboard, but some other reports that you might find beneficial are the record of PDP activities, which if you look from the staff dashboard, you can get that information. Your orientation dates, the evaluation completion exception report. I showed you how to run that from the staff dashboard, but you can also run that from the reportings tab. Users with more than one active evaluation plan. We don't want our staff to have more than one plan because if an evaluator or observer comes in, they may click on the wrong plan. So if you find someone's on the wrong plan, give them the right plan, get all the information out of the old, and then work on getting that deactivated. That mentor relationship and peer observer relationship, run that report to make sure that your beginning teachers have been given mentors and peer observers. That'll save you time later. While you can have other people who have those, just verifying that those BTs do have that. And there's also an at-risk summary evaluation that you can run. And so if you, I know Jennifer talks about in her part, if people need to be on the directed or monitored PDP, it depends on if they were developing or not demonstrated. And there is a report that you can look at for the past couple of years to see if they have had those. And I'll show you where you get those reports. Once again, I've already shown you that staff assigned plan start status. That is the only report that'll generate if someone has not started their plan, but it has been assigned. All that's going to give you is the not started, in progress, or complete. If you have staff members that are no longer in your school, they do need to be removed. And you're going to have to work with your HR payroll. You cannot manually make them inactive in NCEES because when those payroll files run each night, it's going to bring them back. But if you have plans, teachers who are new to your school, but they are still linked to their old school, you're going to want to make sure you click on locations or look at their location. And I did not show you that. So when you are in NCEES, if you're on their dashboard and you see that they have more than one site here, there's a good chance that that plan may belong to the other school. And when they deactivate this person or make them inactive, then you lose access to that plan and it cannot be reactivated. So verifying that your staff members only have one school. And so there's reports that can help you with that. Also, when you're on the My Staff dashboard and you're assigning plans, you can also see their site here. So if this person has two sites, you really should not select them a plan until they only have one site listed here. And that's where you might have to reach out to other districts to ask them to remove. Or if you have people who've left your school, please work with your payroll to have them removed. They may not see that they're so active in NCEES, so you may have to help them with that. So where do I get the rest of those reports? Once again, if you don't have this, it's because you're not site or district administrator rights. You click on reporting. Select the module you wish to run. You can go to quick reports and then any quick reports we have. So you can see that at-risk summary evaluation. That's going to show you any one. You can choose years. So you can go back a couple years and see if anybody was not demonstrated or developing. Like I said, refer to Jennifer with who gets those different types of PDPs. And then you can look at those other things like that mentor relationship, that peer observer relationship, those orientation dates, the activity lock reports. Anyway, so you can look at all of these different reports. Some of these reports say DPI, that just means you don't have access to run them. You'll click on them, you'll get an error message. And then that staff assigned plan start status. If you want to know a little bit more detail about what any of those reports do, you can click here for a short description, and it's going to tell you what those plans are about. Excuse me, or those reports are about. I also like to go ahead and talk about some of those emails that I get over and over again and try to do some troubleshooting with you to kind of help with that process. So these are some errors that are emails I get a lot, probably like 100 times a month or so. And so I just want to go ahead and kind of help front load some of these issues and go ahead and give you solutions or how you can fix this. If a staff member is not in NCEES, I cannot add them. I do not have the rights to add anyone to NCEES. Everybody gets into NCEES based on their budget codes, and that is controlled by payroll. HR helps with maybe with some of that, but it's all depending on their budget codes. And the budget codes that get into NCEES are listed here. So if you have someone who is not in NCEES, it means that something with their budget code does not allow them to get into NCEES. Occasionally, you'll have a staff member who needs PD but is not in NCEES, and their role was just not going to put them in NCEES. A lot of times, we can reach out to the course creators and ask if there's a way to manually add them to a Canvas course, but I cannot add someone to NCEES just to take a course, so we don't have the ability to do that. Once again, access to NCEES is based on budget codes, and we don't do that at DPI. It's all based on your PSU and the budget codes that are given to them. But a lot of times, if you have someone in your school who's already taken a course and you have access to the course instructor, if you reach out to them directly and just ask, chances are they'll go ahead and add you to that course or add whoever needs to be to that course and provide some. You just need to make sure that they will provide some type of certificate of completion once that course is done. If a staff member has a wrong location in NCEES, that also has to do with information from payroll. So if you have someone in your district and they've changed schools and they still have their old school, you're going to work with payroll to have that location corrected. If you're an admin, a lead principal, and they still have you linked to your old school, they're going to need to link you to your new school before you have access to everyone's rights on that page. Also, if someone is getting a 403 error message, that means that something changed. Maybe you're in NCEES yesterday, and then today you log in and you get the 403 error message. That means that something happened with your budget codes in payroll. It doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have a NCEES approved code. Sometimes people get supplemental codes added to them. Maybe they pick up an additional duty at school or something like that. But NCEES only looks at the last update date. So if for some reason, maybe you took on a role, maybe you're going to drive a bus or something of that nature, maybe you're going to do some tutoring and you get an additional budget code, the NCEES approved code needs to be the most recent code for it to be picked up in NCEES. So once again, working with payroll, anytime someone's not in NCEES or they get that 403 error message, I thought I had a screenshot of that. I did, just maybe skipped over it. So if they get that 403, it always has something to do with payroll. So I can't fix it for you. If you get a 403 error message, you have to talk with your HR payroll for that. And like I said, if a staff member has 2 locations, there is a report that you can help with that, but we do not want members to be in more than one location. Like I said, if someone has left your school, they need to be connected to their new school. They need to be removed. And payroll may not see who's still left in NCEES. So you may, like I said, have to help them. Or if you have a teacher who has left a previous district and they're with you now, but they still have that school, chances are this plan will belong to their previous school. So please maybe work. I'm not certain how your district wants to do it. So maybe they'll have the teacher reach out to the school, or maybe they'll payroll reach out, or maybe as principal, they'll ask you to reach out. But you would have to reach out to their previous district to ask them to make them inactive in NCEES. If a staff member does not appear on your dashboard, that's because they have not started that plan. Remember, I did show you ways that you can help start that plan for them. But sometimes out of sight, out of mind. So just making sure that they have started that plan. And just being aware, maybe put a note on your calendar to make sure that all plans have been started every so often, because we have teachers, who come and go, and you may finish today and then tomorrow you get a new teacher next week. So just making sure you pay attention to that. If you can't open a step on a plan, there's something hasn't been done before that. If you have ever looked in the plan, at the very end, there is an I. And if you hover over that I, it'll tell you what steps have to be completed before that can be open. So you'll see here that this activity is unavailable until that number 2 activity has been locked. Here, this will tell you that activity number 1 has to be locked and the formal observation has to be locked. So it's going to tell you what has to be done before you can open that step. So if you can't open a step on a plan, just making sure you hover over the I, it'll tell you what hasn't been done. If you can't finalize an observation, that means that there is an element that does not have a box checked, and a box will need to be checked for that. So you can see here that you have these numbers that can tell you how many times that item has been checked. So if you see zeros, or if you see all blue all the way across, that means that something has not been checked for that element, and you can't finalize the plan until that has happened. So just click the drop down, click continue, and go see where something has not been checked. It's okay to check not look for. That will count as something in the box, but just making sure that something in each row has been checked. And then after you have something checked, you can share and finalize those. If a staff member has the wrong rubric, remember it's going to default to the teacher rubric. So if you have an ITF, a school counselor, media coordinator, things of those natures, and they log in to do, you log in to do an observation, or you log in, or they log in to do their self-assessment, if they see the wrong rubric, first thing you need to do is make sure it's correct on the My Staff page. If it is not correct on the My Staff page, you need to correct it and allow for an overnight process. It has to be processed. Remember, everything has to happen overnight. If it is correct on the My Staff page, if you're going in to do the observation and you see the wrong rubric, then you're just going to click Start, Save and Exit, and then don't do anything. Just Start, Save, and Exit. That is the only way to prompt the delete icon, and it just deletes the rubric. So Start, Save, and Exit, then click on the menu and click Delete. And if it's correct on the My Staff page and has been for at least one overnight process, then the correct rubric should generate. Same thing for the person doing their self-assessment. If they see the wrong rubric, if they will click Start, Save and Exit, click the menu and Delete, the person who started it needs to delete it, and then Start New, then the correct rubric should be populated. So hopefully that will help save some steps there if the wrong rubric does appear. If the peer observer can't acknowledge, that means that they do not, usually means they do not have peer observer rights. You can run that report just to make sure that they have peer observer rights. So that peer observer relationship, like I said, especially making sure that your beginning teachers have a peer observer assigned to them, but you can run that report to see, and then if they don't have peer observer rights and they could do everything but sign off, just go to the My Staff page, Administration Staff Management, and give them peer observer rights like I showed you earlier in this presentation. I promised you I would show you some resources that are going to help you. So I know that Jennifer talked a lot about the language of the rubric, and she talked a lot about policy and procedure. And so where do you find that information? So I have it linked here, but this is also the first clickable link that you would find on the NCEES home screen. So on the NCEES home screen, it, like I said, is that first clickable link. You'll see NCEES resource site. And you can see that there's information about teachers, principals, support staff, central office, superintendent, DPI website, beginning of the year information, all of these different opportunities. I'm going to click on this teacher one just to show you some things Jennifer probably talked about. I'm sure she talked about the policies that you have to share, procedures, if you want to look at the procedures and things that have to be done, some additional resources. I know that one thing Jennifer does talk about is providing feedback. So she shares more about that, but this is that document where you can look and say, this teacher is currently developing in this area. And so maybe they access data from districts, but are they using data analysis to guide lesson plans? So this is going to help give you some good feedback. So this is where they're at. I like the way you're accessing data, but are using data to guide lessons, plan activities. So I know Jennifer does talk about that, but just showing you that to provide some good targeted feedback. And she can provide you more information with that. Also, there's some additional information here for different subjects, but if you've never looked at these, please feel free to check those out. And then you have a comparison chart. As you are walking in to observe people, these are the roles in NCEES. You have the teachers, the teacher leadership specialists, library coordinator, media coordinators, ITFs, psychologists, social workers, counselors, speech language pathologists. So as you are going in to evaluate these people in NCEES, you're going to see that standard 1A is not the same in a teacher's classroom as it is in a media classroom, or as it looks for an ITF. And just having that straight and knowing the differences between the two when you go in and observe them, and just looking at the differences in the language of the rubric. Okay. In addition, we had talked about support staff, and when you have support staff that are here in NCEES, you're going to see that you have like career development coordinators, ITF, occupational therapists, physical therapists, school counselors, media coordinators, school nurse, psychologists. So not all of these roles are evaluated in NCEES, and anything with an asterisk is not evaluated in NCEES. So it's school nurse, occupational therapist, physical therapist, those school speech language pathologists, they are not evaluated in NCEES. We do have this information here just for your convenience, but if you have specific questions, you would have to reach out to those departments to ask for help. But if you do click on those, we do have like their guide, their evaluation guide and information in there to help you, because not all roles are evaluated in NCEES. In addition to that, if you would like to have some beginning of the year orientation, there is a link to a webinar that has been created before. I know Jennifer talks about in her part. And then if you just want links to webinars, our webinar series, we have previous years that are linked here. So if you've not paid attention to this resource site, and please share that with your teachers, we would love for them to use that. That is going to be beneficial for them. In addition to the NCEES resource site that you would share with teachers, there's also an admin resource hub for you. So this site is designed for administrators in NCEES. I don't recommend sharing this with teachers. Teachers have enough to decide what's important for them to keep up with and what's not. We're not trying to hide it from them. I mean, they could join it, but it has so much information that's just not relevant for them in their role. So if you would like to be a part of the NCEES Resource Hub, you're going to go to the blue canvas from NCEECloud. If you have a red canvas, that is your school's instance. Blue canvas is DPI. You'll click Home-Based Resources on the bottom on the far left, and then you can go to NCEES Admin Resources. I'm just going to show you what that looks like. I thought I had that open. Give me 1 second. So when you are on NCEECloud, give it a second to load. If you go to the blue canvas, and then from the blue canvas on the far left, and if you're zoomed way in, you may have to like scroll down to see it, but you go to Home-Based Resources, and then you will see NCEES. You're welcome to sign up for any of these if you'd like, but you can go to NCEES, and then the first time you come here, you're going to see Enroll in the Course, and then after that, you'll see Go to the Course. And you're going to see here that there are modules for beginning of the year, middle of the year, end of the year, reporting, professional development, year overview, some troubleshooting. Module 8's coming soon. But beginning of the year, a lot of the information that's already been shared with you today, you will find in this module. But you are welcome to be a part of that and keep an eye on that group if you would like, or that site. And then if you've never paid attention to what's actually in NCEES, so there's a wealth of information within NCEES itself. There's the homepage that has like upcoming webinars and events. There's help guides for every single plan or plan type. There is the question mark, which will get you to information specifically from PowerSchool, but not necessarily targeted towards how North Carolina uses it. And then you can see the envelope, but we're just going to kind of look at what is actually in NCEES. So I am going to go back to NCEES. From the home screen, you're going to see that you have a welcome icon. Like I said, there's that first resource site. There's a NCEES admin hub. Now, the reason I have you go to NCEECloud first is because if not, you'll get an error message. You have to click from the very first time. You have to go from the NCEECloud and click on the blue canvas. That's going to create your account for you. Excuse me, come back. Then you can see some information about some other stuff. So if you are a site and district administrator, there's also a whole page for admin resources. So this is going to show you how to submit a service ticket. It's going to show you how to assign plans and access right with a little help guide and a little quick video. Just some information here that you're going to see that hopefully you'll find helpful for you. And then if you have not looked at the help guides, there is a help guide for every plan. So from the comprehensive plan for this teacher to the evaluator, and these complement each other. It'll tell the teacher what to do, the evaluator what to do, the teacher what to do, the evaluator what to do. And they contain screenshots and click paths just to help you. So I'm just going to look at the evaluator one just to kind of show you what that does look like. So it's going to tell you to do this. So do go to Access Evaluations Plan, Staff Evaluations tab, and it has pictures telling you every single click path that needs to be done, helpful guides and videos. And like I said, these do complement each other. If you have someone who's never been a peer observer before, share this peer observer guide with them. It's going to be helpful. Peer observer could be used for any plan type. We just put it in the comprehensive here because the comprehensive plan requires peer observation. But we have guides for standard, abbreviated, late hire, for the PDP, for the principal AP plan. There's also some quick start guides. Anyway, take a look at all of these additional information that is shown on this site. You're going to find it very beneficial. You've never looked there? Look there and see what's available. Are you getting the NCEES bulletin? So the NCEES bulletin does go out every single Wednesday. We're going to update that with information of things that are going on. You're welcome to sign up. I did link the Gov Delivery subscription page. You can also sign up for additional NCDPI emails that do go out. Just be aware it can be a little overwhelming if you click everything. So once you do get the NCEES bulletin, anything that is new in that issue will have an asterisk at the top. Anything that has previously been shared that I want to run a couple weeks will be in there. So once you read it once, you only need to look at the contents at the top and read those things that have an asterisk. But please feel free to sign up. Once you click here, you're going to search for DTL/NCEES, and then you can sign up for those. Please double check. We like to make sure that our contacts are correct. And if you have someone who is still linked to a previous district, this is going to be, and they need to be made inactive because they have 2 locations. This is going to be who you contact, but you can come here, search for your school, and you're going to see here in this list, you can see who your NCEES leads are and your NCEES backup. Click the plus to expand. But if you see any of these that are no longer correct for your district, please make sure you reach out to your district and find out who these people need to be. We try to keep this as up to date, but if changes happen and no one tells us, we don't know to change it. Like I said, you can see your NCEES leads, NCEES backup, NCEES PD leads, SchoolNet leads, the SIS lead. So this is going to be information that we use when we need to contact people, or if someone, like I said, if you have a teacher who is still connected to their previous district, this is going to be who you can go to. If you find mistakes, please email those mistakes to home_base@dpi.nc.gov. Tell them if it's the SIS, if it's NCEES, if it's SchoolNet. Tell them what who needs to be replaced, who needs to be removed, and where. We'll get emails all the time say you need to add this person, but we don't know where to add them. So if you can go ahead and tell us where they need to be added, that'll save some time. If you are not a part of the NCEES Google group and you would like to be, so this is a group of NCEES district administrators helping each other. They have some really good questions if you will just want to find best practices or processes of how people use the system. You know, how does your district do this? Just getting input. Don't ever share personally identifiable information about other people in your district, but you can ask questions about how things are done. If it's a question about the system and nobody has responded after about 24 hours, and I will go in and answer, but most of the time someone will answer for you. So if you'd like to be a part of this group, Brian Probst and Patricia Coldren do run that, and that is where you sign up, and then someone will admit you into the group. There'll be a few questions that you do have to ask, but it's a great group of people helping people like you navigate the system and just finding out how other people do things. My team does travel the state for our we traveled this summer for NCBOLD. We do travel for digital leader exchanges throughout the year. As it gets closer to time, I will let you know the target audience for these groups and send out personal invites for these. I will send, if this is your role in NCEES and your tag with that. I also put this information in the NCEES bulletin just to make sure that people know, because you know there's going to be times where I travel and I just talk about like NCEES PD office, and that might not be relevant for your role, and we don't ever want to waste your time. But if you just want to kind of go ahead and note some things on your calendar, we do travel to 4 locations across the state each time we do travel, and you can go to the one that's closest to you. So if that's something you're interested in, just make note of it on the calendar. No more information will be coming later as it gets closer and we have information about these dates. Also, we do travel. There's other events other than the Digital Leaders Exchange. So this is the external essentials calendar that talks about things that are going on. So maybe you support other items in your state. Like I said, I have the Digital Leaders Exchange are listed. If someone in your district helps with E-Rate Bootcamp or Mastering Campus and needs help here, all the items that we talk about are listed. I did screenshot, but this might get updated. So always click here for the most recent version of this document just to see if anything's changed. Because, as soon as I finish, there may be some additional items that are coming. But if this is something that you think would be beneficial for you or someone else in your PSU, please share that with the appropriate people as it gets closer so they can sign up and attend what's relevant. We also have webinars that are updated throughout the year. So you can click here and sign up. Some of these webinars are going to be on demand, like this one. I will post that on this page. But we also have webinars that are, you have to sign up for and to attend. So I know that I have a webinar on August 13th and a webinar on August the 15th. You can click here to sign up. And this is if you manage NCEES PD office. If this is not a role that you manage, you would not need to sign up. But I do have on the NCEES home screen the webinars, and you can look here, and this webinar is going to be posted here in just a few minutes for these recorded webinars. And so the next time you log in, you will see this. And then we have some additional webinars that are on demand. You do not get credit for the on-demand webinars, but the webinars that you do watch live down here, you will get credit for watching those. And they're always from 4 to 5 on those different days. Please share those with the appropriate people. So you'll see like beginning of the year for principals, you're going to get a lot of this information just very condensed. So that might not be the best for you, but you're always welcome to attend. And then we do beginning of the year for teachers. NCEES Do You Know tips. Then the middle of the year, we have one for principals and for teachers and staff, one for reporting, the different types of reports, then one for CEUs. Then we have end of the year webinars as well. So sign up for any webinars that you think would be beneficial for you. We would love to have you attend with us. And I'm always going to put the most recent ones on the NCEES home screen to sign up for. If you have questions about anything that has been shared with me, from me or from Jennifer Bass, please feel free to reach out. Jennifer Bass is going to answer questions about the policy, the procedure, the language of the rubric, things of that nature. I answer questions about the system. So if you don't know who to contact, reach out to both of us and the right person will respond. So thank you so much for joining us today or watching this video. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.